Hello from Bali. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the comments below for the details. Let's talk about settings and let's start with the definition.
As a computer guy, I will always connect word settings to the BIOS. BIOS is basic input-output system in a computer, which is maybe most powerful and first running micro scheme. In those micro scheme, we have several settings. For example, which drive would lead first, A or C? And for example, how many monitors do you attach to your computer? Just one or second? And maybe also you want to make overclocking and put your memory or CPU on other frequencies. But the same we have in our mindset. By the way, mindset, settings. In our brain, we have a lot of thinking. For example, if you live close to the mountains, you will never think to go on top because you know this is very endurance and this will take you so many strengths. But people from the flat land, they always think, oh, if I will see those mountains, I will go. Or for example, I was living close to the river Dnieper, and several times I was crossing it. And now I understand how hard is it. And if someone would be in the water, I will think twice before I will try to save him because I have settings. The same, for example, with mushrooms. I like to collect mushrooms and I know how to отличить, to discover, how to distinguish poison one. But I have been several times in the woods and I was looking for people. They were carrying quite poisonous mushrooms and they were attempt to eat them. So they have no settings that fish could be, mushroom could be poison. And I will explain why I misuse this word fish, because I have another example. All people who know that some fishermen were very hungry when they were taken by the storm to the middle of the nowhere, everyone would say, but ocean is full with the fishes. No, just close to the coastline. But in the middle of nowhere, there are no fish. So if you want to catch them, you will spend some, I don't know how to bite, but this bite could be eaten by yourself, even if it is worms. It is much better to eat worm by yourself than to have a chance to lose it on a hook when you will put it in the ocean.
And when we look into the settings, it seems like there is like a little border. Maybe it's like quite thick, not really thin, with the principles. So, like maybe it's something that you discover about the world, but then you also have your own way of processing it. So what is the, I would say, relationship between principles and the settings?
I would say that it is much simplified. For example, settings is I will never put hand on a woman. Is it okay to say?
That's correct.
I wouldn't put hand on a woman, but there's nothing to make as a principle. Principle is consists from several parts. If I am in position, I would take such a choice. This is principle. But if we are about settings, this is just first part. For example, I never steal. But principle, I never steal because if I will steal, another people will steal from me. Or for example, settings is to honor old people or not. But principle is, if I will honor all people, I will show example to everyone. And when I will be an old man, I would be also honored. So principle is sometimes explanation, and it has several chains in it.
So we do distinguish it.
Максим, sorry, not chain, but звеньев.
Nodes.
Nodes, yes, sorry, nodes, sorry, nodes.
So once we define the, like how it could be distinguished, like what will be the, I would say, the basis to figure out like what is what. So how to, think about how do you define the setting it's themselves? Like, how do you, like observe the world, or maybe you speak to someone who is a senior and they would share with you the wisdom. So how do you define, okay, this is the setting that I want to, like take, maybe will slightly modify it, or maybe I will slightly, look at it in depth and then use in my life. So when you build the setting and embed it into your life.
I use a very easy principle. I will never listen to the person which I would never ask for advice. So if the person is wise for me, maybe I will steal from her or him some settings. For example, I have a boss of mine in Germany, and he was technician, and he was never smiling. His name was Joachim Dreyer. And I was asking him, Joachim, why you never smile? We have done a good job. We have so much money. We could be happy. And he told me, if I will smile, you will ask me for something. And I was looking at him. I was staring at him, and I couldn't understand. And he pronounced me, I will show you. And suddenly, when we were in the office, he started to smile. And suddenly some Spanish guy approached him and asked for vacation. And at his point, Joachim clipped me and he was showing, I'm a boss. If I would smile, everyone would think I have a good mood. Good mood, my good mood, would mean that other people could ask me for resources. But if I would have a severe face, everyone would think that I am in a bad mood and they will never ask. So when I am going to dentistry, which is business of my wife, and I am director of this business, I am never smile.
So this is actually maybe the time when I probably would challenge you with your own example, because like, for example, at work, I mostly, wear a serious mask. I do smile to people. I do, do the warm part, like the social part. But sometimes, as you rightfully say, like when you smile, when you open up, people tend to, like squeeze in this door, and maybe sometimes it could be one finger, or sometimes it might be like a whole body, and maybe, they will ask their friend to join. So how to deal with the settings when, like might be a little contradictory. From one point, you want to, like make sure that you are a very nice guy, and, you're quite approachable, you're quite helpful. From another point of view, you want to show that you're achiever, that you do know what your company wants, and you want to lead them there. So how to, like deal with this two, I would say some sort of like a half settings.
Nice word. I should remember. It depends how many mistakes you have done in your life. It was a time I was owner of internet shop, and I was probably asked, or maybe it was my suggestion, to do a children garden for girls who just have babies, like 3 months and so on. I take several babysitters, and I was so happy that my employee could work and go to special room like every 2 hours. And I was happy just for several hours. Then I was asked if it is possible to have several fridges with different temperature to store the milk. Then I was asked if there's possibility to make several showers and put several tubes. Then I was asked, is it okay to buy an iron and I know ironing shelf, I don't know how to say, доска для глажки.
Iron board.
Iron board. And during 1 week, I was asked for maybe 200 things. And from first part of my brain, I was happy to assist to my employee. But then I was asked for so many little things that suddenly I realized that I need maybe several managers to this kindergarten, and it just closed it. So I want to be helpful, but it's almost impossible. Or another one. My wife, clever as any woman, sometimes asks me, I want a new bag. Maybe it's time to go to shopping. And I always say, yes, for sure. And I buy her new bag every time when she just mentioned. And now she has another setting. And she will sell me in another way. I saw a bag, but please do not buy me it. I like, but do not like it. And now it's very easy. If she wants, I will definitely buy at any cost. But now she tried to protect me, not to buy, because she has so many bags.
And sometimes, as you mentioned in your example, there might be someone else, like settings. So let's say we might be in the business or maybe in the hostile environments where we do need to understand what are the settings or maybe other, like motivational elements or like anything else our counter agent may have. So how to try to discover them and maybe use in order to achieve something that we do want.
Much better we will talk when you will stay in India for several months. After India, you will discover that everything you know about people is mixing up in your head. If you talk with person with same nation, with same language, with same territory as you, used to speak and used to communicate, you will understand everything. But for example, if you will go in India in train and you are traveling with first class, suddenly you will find that all your also coupes, okay, to say it, coupe.
Coupe, yes.
Coupe or cabin would be quite occupied. So you're trying to enter, you have tickets, for example, 2 or 4 tickets, you will come to your cabin and suddenly you will find that like 9 or 10 Indians are sitting there. And then all of them are smiling at you. And they even will swift their bodies and you will have a very small part to sit. And they will show you that they are happy to give you a space, but they have no tickets. And if you will ask them to leave, they will suddenly say very strange things. Are you so hungry? Are you so not loving people? Why are you so angry? We could sit all together. We have food to share. They will be dirty and you would not eat this food, but they will offer you. And you looking at this crowd and you couldn't understand. It is impossible in your culture. You have no settings. Or another one. For example, you will go with German guy to ride on a car. Germans will never go to the car without license. If you will ask American, let's go, he will say, okay, I have no license. We should drive not so speedy and carefully. If you will say German, if you're able to go by a car without license, he tell me it is. He will tell you impossible. I was working in Germany and it was a technical job, and I was asking, I know how to say ключ, гаечный ключ.
Wrench.
Thank you. I was asking for a wrench, and suddenly my partner told me, we have no wrench. I told him, it is impossible to have no wrench. We have set of them. And he told me, this is, I don't know, number of this gaika?
Bolt, probably.
Of this bolt, but we have a wrench which is bigger. I take this bigger wrench and also screwdriver, and I just sieve it. And I was thinking he would be happy. We found a way. And he was talking to me. Are you Turkish? Just Turkish people take the wrong wrench to the bolt. We should wait until we have the right one.
Well, and this is actually, like sometimes I do believe might be another example when people may want to get rid of their settings the moment that they see something else, or they might be fighting with them. So how to, let's say, like for ourselves, when we do see that there is something that definitely contradicting with the existing setting, but it's contradicting in a truthfully in the right way. So how to, like make sure that you recognize this early and make sure you don't really want to use the previous one, but use the correct one.
Maxim, it depends. Again, if you will talk about Bangladesh or some other poor country, they have very strange settings. For example, if you will offer them food to another people, they first will eat with you your food, and then they would eat without you their food. They have a thinking like this. If you have something to share, this is your contribution. But they have nothing to share, so they will not sacrifice. And this is a setting. In our language, we will everything divide. For example, an apple, and at least you will ask me. But they If you eat something and you do not share, it's okay with them. You do not sacrifice. But you have spare and you give, this will not like obligation for them to give something in return.
And when we speak about settings, like maybe for a specific areas of life. So for example, let's say if we speak about career or maybe starting or maybe like managing or growing our business, what might be the basic one that definitely, like more or less we should stick to, or at least, pay attention to them?
The best strategy is copying. I know is the right word for Americans, but I was taking this from coaching. Copying, when you make copy of the strategy. It's okay to say copying?
That's correct to say.
Okay, I didn't know. For example, if your boss sometimes sit on the table, which is not allowed in our culture, you should think twice. Is it allowed for you? Because yes, he could be American or English person, but he is also boss. So you should understand how many sides in the settings. Or another one, for example, if you will work with Americans, sometimes when they trying to start to work, they will, I don't know how to say, подворачивать.
Roll their sleeves.
They will roll their sleeves. But you know what's funny? For example, you are my boss, and we have a small team. The boss, you, will first roll the sleeves, and we will start to work. But suddenly, after we all roll the sleeves, and we put our hands on the keyboard, my boss from Intel, he will roll it out, take the suit and go home. So these movements to roll sleeves was not for everyone, but to us to show that we should work. But he, like for small child, he showed this gesture and then it dismissed and will go home.
And probably my question before the last one will be how to make sure that you do keep your setting and then you want to give it to someone else in order to maybe use or at least to consider. So how to deal with this, how to introduce a new setting to someone else, maybe it could be explicitly or implicitly, but to make sure that it will be perceived, it will be reviewed, and maybe it will be used.
It was time I was working in Japan, and every one of us, we have own cups to drink tea or coffee. And suddenly one person, he was not Japanese, he take my cup, it was white, from glina.
Mud or clay.
It was made
or
from
ceramic.
It was made from white ceramic, very expensive one. And suddenly he broke it. And I was expecting excuses or maybe money, because if Japanese will broke the cap, you know what they will do? They will collect all the pieces, go home, they will stick it together with glue, and all these broken parts would be covered by gold. So not gold by itself, but gold color. So you will have completely assembled cap, and it became even expensive because someone makes special efforts to assemble it. In our culture, they will buy a new one, yes? In Japanese, they will collect. But this person was, I don't know exactly, maybe from Pakistan or some other countries, not India exactly. Suddenly he told me, I never like your cap. You should be happy I broke it. So one behavior, give money. Second settings, I will collect. And third way to behave, I avoid the bad things from your life.
Then my last question will be how knowing about settings could help to make this world a better place.
Maxim, I was working in several countries, and in all those countries, I was making so many mistakes. For example, when I was working in Germany, I was asked for second day by my chief of staff, why maybe you need some service with your washing machine, стиральная машина, washing machine. Washing machine, and I told no, everything's okay. And he was asking me maybe 2 more days. And then he approached me directly. Why you use the same T-shirt for several days? But I was from country where my father was military man, and he was changing his T-shirt weekly. And in Germany, they have settings. Each day you should change you should change your shirt daily. Okay. Then I was working in Japan, and I had the same problem. Do you have some problem in your flat? Maybe we should send someone to see how your home appliance is working. And I was asking my Japan boss, why? And he told me, Japanese men change shirt twice per day. You know, different people, different settings.
And we review the skill of settings and how it could be helpful to you stay in peace.